several adults got together, essentially extended the boundaries of their chartered program to make residences of several players now eligible to participate in the Jackie Robinson West Little League program. That process, there's a very well-regulated process. If a league wants to change its boundaries, there are conditions that have to be met. But what's troubling here is that the leadership of the district, who is required to sign off on any changes like that, did so knowingly that this was wrong.
The kids who actually stepped to the plate in the Little League World Series did what they were asked to do, perform at their very best, and seek to be the best at their craft. Sad to say the adults involved also did what we have come to expect in such matters. Decide to win at any cost and then hide when the hammer falls. Cheating in sports is nothing new, and certainly not anything we will ever really eradicate. One man who does not cheat the reader, listener, or viewer with his insight into sports and business, the man who invented the concept of analyzing sports business, the sports professor himself. Pay homage, if you will, to Rick Horrow. Greetings, sir.
Do I owe you money again? I mean, that's the best introduction I've heard from you since last week.
Well, exactly right. I try to do one at least once a week. You know, I try to let it out there every now and then. I try to use all the fancy words for you that I would never use if I was actually introducing you in person.
Everybody does one thing well. Congratulations.
There you go. All right. Well, it seems like here in America, everybody does one thing well if you're in sports, and everybody at least has to know how to cheat. Because, look, we're hit not only with what's in Chicago, but Jerry Rice will get to, the Atlanta Falcons will get to, the New England Patriots will get to. There's so much cheating here. But to go to this, Rick, look, the Little League Championship, I think, did exactly the right thing. They did the right thing for their brand, if you will, because they caught the cheaters. But these are parents cheating here. They always do this. This is rife throughout United States youth sports.
Well, listen, I'm on the board of directors, full disclosure, of Pop Warner, and one of the things that we insist on is integrity, not just because of the parents. And we know the parents will do anything for their kids. That in and of itself is a virtue. Cheating for your kids is not a virtue. I remember the days of the New York Little Leaguers whose age was older than they actually were. Me, I want to look younger and be younger, but that's another entirely different story. The bottom line is cheating is different things to different people. Bending the rules is not appropriate. Two dimensions of this. One is, it's okay to get away with something on the field and fake that you've been tagged on a baseball field or fake holding in a football field versus blowing up footballs or not saying it happened, but that is a distinction, versus crowd noise in Atlanta that is false crowd noise. This is all about line drawing. And the real key here is how do you enforce firm and obvious and sustainable and transparent moral standards, and by the way, make them stick.
Isn't that where we're going here, though, Rick? At the end of the day, this is a moral issue and a moral standard, and whether it's Pop Warner or Little League or the National Football League or anybody else, you can't teach morals. If you don't have them, then it's awfully difficult to even regulate them.
Yeah, fair, but unfortunately a little too simplistic. It's ingrained in our culture as well. I'm a golfer, and the one thing you learn very early on is you are meticulous about calling penalties on yourself, and the television viewers get to weigh in about a stroke penalty that looks really nitpicking on the outside, but it is grounded in the integrity of the sport on the other hand. What is the difference, by the way, between moving a golf ball a couple of inches when somebody doesn't see it versus faking that you've been tagged in baseball when you haven't? One is acceptable and one is not. So let's talk about that.
Why is it acceptable, though? Because at the end of the day, Rick, what you're talking about here is cheating. End of story.
Well, again, interesting, but maybe too simplistic. We've been raised since the Abner Doubleday days. By the way, he invented baseball, for those of you who don't know that you get away with certain things, and your key is to fake out the opponent. If you fake out the umpire, that's just another victory for you. Pine tar that you put on a baseball bat, scuffing up the ball when you're throwing the ball, illegal, out of the game, missed a tag on the baseline, just normal part of the game. Again, it's line drawing. I will say, without spending the rest of the interview on this one, that there are very clear issues that people understand that go to the integrity of the game. Misrepresenting the birth certificate, blowing up footballs or deflating them, whether that happened or not. A lot of these issues are fundamentally different, and we have to rely on our societal ability to separate those.
Fair to say, though, that when it comes to the National Football League, at least Jerry Rice admitted he was the one who actually hammered away at the New England Patriots during their issues in the Super Bowl. He's admitted now that he used stickum on his hands in violation of the rules. The Atlanta Falcons now have been caught basically pumping up the volume of crowd noise when the opponents are on the field right now. That's cheating. The NFL is going after them. So there's a lot of glass houses in these sports, no matter how you slice it.
Hey, there's glass houses in the media too. So they're glass. We live in a village of glass houses. If we're not going to mix metaphors. And again, the real key is not just to rail against it, but to identify what is really important and make sure that doesn't happen again. And I will say that after the Super Bowl, we have a lot of understanding about where this domestic abuse policy line is. Roger Goodell appointed a director of medical affairs to make sure we're taking steps in the right direction. Again, not an apologist for the NFL, but we see some things that are happening on a consistent basis. They're either motivated by their sponsors or they're motivated to do the right thing because they care. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because it's happening.
All right, and let's not forget, Jerry Rice is a cheater as well. Yes, I did say that out loud. 60 seconds to go. Two quick things here. Magic Johnson interested in an LA NFL team. Now I hear there might be two teams here. Do you really think we're moving towards that magical moment when LA gets an NFL team, or are they just fooling themselves again?
The owner of it, but I do believe that the NFL is getting closer to that deal, whether it is the St. Louis Rams. They're motivated into doing another stadium in Missouri, but also the Raiders and Chargers are looking at going up the road and down the road respectively to try to get something done. A two-team stadium isn't out of the question. Look at MetLife with the Giants and Jets. So I think it's going to happen. I'm just not sure when.
Who's your odds-on favorite for the team to go?
I'm not sure. Raiders, Rams, Chargers, expansion team, probably not. So I'm not going to answer that because I don't really know.
Oh, okay. There you go. We'll catch you down the road.
Answer these questions and totally don't.
30 seconds. Tiger Woods is going to take some time off here, but I imagine it won't hurt his marketability any. He's already cashed a lot of money.
$55 million this last year, Nike and some of the other equity deals that he's got. His Fuse deal didn't go very well. He's got a new signature deal with an Indian company. He moves the needle on the course, off the course, irrelevant how he plays. People sign up for Tiger Woods because they get corporate following and people buy their stuff. So at $55 million a year plus what he has in the bank, let us not hold a bake sale for Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessary at this point. Here's a guy who does not have to buy us lottery tickets. By the way, I can tell you and I didn't win because we're sitting here. All right, Mr. Horrow, thank you so much, Professor. We'll do it all again next week.
We'll do it next week, and if I won, I guarantee I wouldn't be here. Not be here with you.
I'll take that. All right. Take care, buddy. You didn't win the Powerball. I didn't because we're here. But what happens if you did? Here comes the money next.